the more problems, the more money. The worse the problem, the more money you make.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. What do you say to somebody who is like small time, wants to get in the real estate game right now? Maybe they have enough credit and capital to maybe get a down payment on like one single family home, right? And they want to get started in all this. What do they do?
So basically, I hear a lot of like credit has more value than money and blah blah blah. I mean, that's true to a certain extent, but in reality, it doesn't, because once again, if you're not going to dwell 51% of your asset that you're going to purchase, the bank is going to have a difficult time selling you the asset. Or excuse me.
Wait, explain that again. If you're not going to do what?
So basically, banks lend money to people who are going to live in the asset. If it's commercial property, you're going to use at least 51%.
Okay.
So that's, with limited down payment, 3%, 5, 10,
like
20%.
An FHA loan, yeah.
FHA conventional with small down payments. But what I would tell anybody that just that type of person, look, just try to find an area, do the comparables. You know what I mean? Look at sales. Try to find something that is not that big that you can add square footage later on, because it's cheaper to add square footage than to buy a big house. Because let me give you an example. Let's say you buy a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, 1,000 square feet in an area that's bringing $350 a foot, right?
Okay.
And you buy the house. You could always build an addition for $100, $120 a foot.
Right.
So now you doubled to tripled your money on the added square footage you're doing. So then you could resell that house and make more money. Or you could get a second line of credit, HELOC, or that, then you could use that money to go make money. So that's what I would do. If I had limited capital, I would try to get a house that's very small in a good neighborhood.
Okay.
Then what I would do is I'd get a GC to get plans to build square footage, added square footage, then build the added square footage. Now my house is worth more money, and I'd immediately sell it. I wouldn't get it. I wouldn't get a HELOC, anything. I would take the money, then I'd stay in the same neighborhood by renting a house, take the money, and go buying some jalopies in worse neighborhoods and just keep reflipping them.
So you would keep doing that same thing, just buying decent houses or decent or bad houses in good neighborhoods, adding square footage.
Mm-hmm. I've done that many times.
You know what? I was just watching this video. This dude bought a fucking like a mansion in California, and he said what the realtors are doing now in California, like specifically Beverly Hills area, is they're building these fucking like pool cabanas out of block, and they're counting them, and they're literally counting them as square footage. Like, so even if it's like a couple hundred square feet, like a pool house out back.
Yeah, well, think about it. If you have a carport that's 250 square feet, and it costs you $30,000 to encapsulate that with heated square footage, and it's 250 square feet, and it goes for $300 a foot, that 25 turned into 75. So your cash on cash investment tripled.
Right. But can you just do it yourself? Do you have to fucking go get out and get permits and do all that?
Yeah, well, you have to have everything permitted. Otherwise, it's not going to be on the tax record as legal square footage.
Okay.
And then when you go to sell it, you don't want any problems. See, like taking shortcuts is the worst thing you can do.
Really?
Of course. Anytime you try to do something that's not 100% legit, you're going to get busted. And then that's just going to cost you time, energy, and money. Do it right the first time, and you'll never look back. Never screw anybody over. You never have to sleep bad. You never have to look over your back. Always be a man of your word, because in reality, what else do you really have?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because business is a way of life. A lot of people talk to me, hey, Bryon, how do I get in this part-time? I said, look, to be honest with you, real estate is not a job. It's not a profession. It's basically a lifestyle.
Yeah.
You constantly have to be thinking. When I go on vacation, I try to buy places where I go. Oh, maybe I could buy this here, Airbnb it or something.
Yeah.
You always constantly have to be on a mental grind.
Can you walk me through one of these deals that you're talking about, these new construction deals? Like, what do you look for? Like, obviously, it starts with buying land, and you got to find some land.
Yeah, so basically, let me take a sip of this.
Take some sip of that.
I like this.
Yeah. Murder your thirst.
Got it. All right, so you look at the area, and you see what the new houses are bringing. So let's say we're building at 110 a foot, due to the fact that the wood has gone up and the trusses are hard to find, so whatever. So if you're selling at $110 a foot and you build a 2,500 square foot house, right?
So the cost to build a new house is about $110 a foot.
Right, plus your impact fees, the price of the dirt. So you got to work backwards. So let's just use round numbers again. Let's say the house is selling for $300 a foot, and you build 2,000 square feet.
Okay.
So you already know your retail number is $600,000. Okay. So you're probably going to have to back out about 8%, because you got to pay when you sell it, real estate commissions and closing costs.
Got it.
All right. So you're going to net 92% of your sale price.
Okay.
Okay. So let's say 92% of 600. Let me see. It's 540 plus. That's like 550 to 2,000. So you're going to net 550 on that sale, right? And if it's 2,000 square feet and it costs you $2.25 to build it, so now you got 325 in between profit and dirt and all fees.
Okay.
So if you could buy that dirt for $150,000 at the end of the day, you're going to make about $150,000 on that deal. But that's including if you're paying cash for everything. You're not using anybody else's money.
No financing or anything.
Right, no financing.
Wow, but that's a lot of that takes a long time though. That's like a long investment.
Well, no, you're looking at about 6 months, but remember, if you got
6 months to build a house?
Probably like 3 to 4 months. But let's say you got 20 or 30 of those going at one shot.
Holy
So
fuck.
now every week you're cashing a check. And then you buy dirt. Like we make money by buying large parcels of dirt and knowing the future land use and doing a PD, which is a plan development, and getting the plans ready. So we take that and we sell it to the builders. So like I have a property I bought for $250,000 and it's costing me like $50,000 to get it to where it needs to be, plan development for 60 units. So I'm going to be in that property for like $300,000 and I'm going to list it for $1.8 million. So once I sell it, let's say I take 1.5 after fees, I net 1.3, I'll make $1 million on that asset with $300,000 out of pocket. Because I happen to get the dirt cheap enough and I know the zoning and I know what I can do with it. So obviously knowledge is always supreme. Right. So you have to know what you're doing before you do it.
And when you're selling that piece of property, you're selling the dirt and there's already permits in place to build. You're
selling what it's going to be. And you're going to sell that to a guy who does build and sells, because he's going to take a 1031 exchange, which is basically he's going to use the proceeds from his last sale to do the same thing over and over again. This way he doesn't have to pay the government high taxes.
So basically they're buying a piece of property turnkey, ready to be built on. You have the permits, you got the plans, you got the builder, everything.
Right. And because a lot of builders, they don't really have much money, they use the bank's money, so the time, once going back to our original statement, time is very precious. Yeah. So they're using our asset that we purchased, develop it for them to get ready. So that's how we make a large, substantial hit.
Okay. Wow. So do you do any 1031 exchanges?
Nah, not really, because I move pretty fast. And I don't mind paying the government because it's easier for me and it's just less headaches.
Yeah. It's a lot of stress to chase that window.
And I'm the kind of guy that I just like a simple life. You know, I sometimes I go crazy, do me, but I just like to have fun and make money.